Hello and welcome to Iceland. Today's video covers a strange and free tourist attraction that came into being after one of the biggest engineering mistakes in Icelandic history. So this story has many twists and turns, and it starts by the capital of North Iceland, Akureyri. And a few years back, a local company embarked on a journey through this mountain, Vaðlaheiði, and it was a tunnel project in order to make a better winter road connection between North and East Iceland. The project was carried out with dynamite and started after positive results from test holes. And the crew, they started on the west side, just by the town Akureyri, and the local people got very excited. So a Facebook page was opened for them, so they could see the progress every day, and they just loved it, all the way until the crew was 2 kilometers into the mountain, where they hit bad news, or hot water, and lots of it. And the temperature was ranging from 45 and up to 60 degrees Celsius. And to work in a steam bath, it turned out to be a bit too much for those workers who live only 80 kilometers away from the Arctic Circle. And after many sweaty working days, it was decided to reduce the number of steam bath workers. And they left only one specialized crew there to work on the leaks. But the rest of the guys were sent to the other side of the mountain to cool down and start the explosions from that end. And the good news started to appear on the Facebook page again as they blasted their way into the mountain, week after week, meter by meter. And we got only good news until we didn't. At the east side of the mountain, the explosion crew, they would hit cold water this time, and plenty of it. And it turned out to be excellent crystal clear mountain water, but there was a catch, since the east end of the tunnels had a downward slope of several degrees. And by then, the only dry spot around was the tunnel budget. It drained way faster than the cold water part of the tunnels. So the media got many field days covering this, and the pressure was on to abandon the project, do something else with the money. But others were more optimistic, especially people with marketing skills. They suggested that we would use the warmer part of the tunnels and make them into the longest sauna in the world, 2 kilometers long, in the mountain, or a sauna chamber that we would not even find in Finland. And I think it was a good idea, actually. But it was decided to move on with the tunnel project, no matter what. And the estimated amount of cement was 200 tons in the beginning, but after the number exceeded 1,000 tons, the tunnel operator stopped talking about it in press releases. But the cement was, of course, used to fight the leaks. And the total cost of the project was more than double the original estimate. And somehow they managed to finish the tunnels. And a part of the extra cost was water pipes for hot and cold water to get the water out of the tunnels. And after it was out of the tunnels, the question came what to do with it. And that is when we got this waterfall that during winters looks like this. And it became a tourist attraction for the whale-watching boats to show off this hottest waterfall in the world. And after a competition of ideas, it was decided to use the hot water for nature baths. And that company would open up 3 years later, and it has been a successful business idea ever since. But they do not use all the hot water from the tunnels, so the waterfall is still there. And it consists of a mixture of hot and cold water, and it's here where the mixing takes place, just by the tunnel entrance. And from there, the water flows under the highway, and that is where we started to see tourists appear every now and then, or sitting in this little creek with a cold beer around 20 meters away from the highway. And I'm not sure how and when this started, but the word somehow got out that this was an ideal place to have a free nature bath here in Iceland. And in many cases, the tourists go further downstream, even all the way down to the waterfall, where there is actually a chair now, but that is all the service you will find. Rocks have been moved in several places in the creek in order to dam the stream to create little pools. But I have to warn you that this is not a formal bathing place. And there are indications that this will not be here with us forever, since some of the hot water flows now directly down to this new bathing place. So the water in the creek, it is colder now. And while I was prepping for this video, I did 2 trips up there. And the water was 20 degrees Celsius the first time. Way too cold for bathing. Disappointed tourists standing around. But the reason might have been that there was so much meltwater coming down from the mountain that day. So I checked this out again a few days later. And the creek was 25 degrees hot then. And the tourists were already there in the creek. But please note that I'm not promoting this place. And don't blame me if the water is cold when you arrive, because this is more about to enjoy it while it lasts. But we can, however, call this nature baths, rightfully. So this tunnel project, it didn't end as scheduled, but at least it left us with this permanent waterfall, although it might cool down even more. And by time I will cover more Icelandic hot springs and nature baths. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider to do so while I'm sending you best regards from my home country, Iceland.